Skyrim is amazing in 2025. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Of course it is, it's always been amazing. But here's the thing. Skyrim isn't just a game that refuses to die. It's a game that refuses to even age. Every time I boot it up, whether it's the vanilla 2011 version or some ridiculously modded out 2025 monstrosity that barely runs on my PC, Skyrim still feels alive in a way that most modern RPGs just don't. Think about it for a second. It has been over a decade since Skyrim first came out. An entire generation of gamers has grown up with it, and yet it still feels relevant. That's not nostalgia, that's staying power. When you look at other games from 2011, a lot of them have been forgotten. They're relics of their time, games you respect but don't really revisit. Skyrim isn't like that. Skyrim feels like a living, breathing place that's still worth stepping back into, even after all this time. A big part of why Skyrim works so well even today is its world. Skyrim's world design is timeless. It doesn't matter that the graphics are technically outdated by today's standards. There's something about standing on the throat of the world, watching the snow roll in, or hearing the wind howl across the Whiterun plains that makes it feel alive. Skyrim was never about photorealism. It was about atmosphere. And atmosphere doesn't age. The first time you step out of Helgen, even in 2025, it still hits. That sudden shift from the chaos of the dragon attack to the open world is still one of the most powerful moments in gaming. That freedom, the idea that the entire Northern Kingdom is just waiting for you, is unmatched. Modern games have gotten bigger, sure. They have maps that stretch for miles and endless icons to chase. But bigger isn't the same as better. Skyrim doesn't overwhelm you with checklists and markers. It just quietly says, "Hey, there's a cave over there. Want to see what's inside?" And somehow, I always do. It's this sense of quiet discovery that makes Skyrim special. You don't need to be told what to do. You just exist in the world, and it naturally pulls you along. Walk in any direction and you'll stumble into something worth your time. Maybe it's a Draugr crypt. Maybe it's a hunter's camp. Maybe it's a dragon circling above the mountains. Skyrim rewards curiosity in a way few games manage to. And that's why its exploration never gets old, no matter how many times you replay it. Of course, we can't talk about Skyrim in 2025 without talking about mods. At this point, Skyrim isn't just a game, it's a platform. It's like Lego for RPGs. Do you want Skyrim to look like a 2025 release with ultra-realistic graphics? Done. Do you want to replace every dragon with Thomas the Tank Engine? Done. Do you want an entirely new continent with hundreds of hours of quests? Also done. Skyrim modders have turned a 2011 game into an endlessly renewable experience. And the crazy part is that mods don't just keep Skyrim relevant, they actually make it better than most new games. We're in an era where studios spend hundreds of millions on developing massive RPGs, and yet, some random person on Nexus Mods casually drops a questline that's more immersive than half of what released this year. Mods extend Skyrim's lifespan in ways Bethesda probably never even imagined. For a lot of people, Skyrim is no longer just Skyrim. It's their Skyrim, customized, tailored, and reshaped into exactly what they want. And that's powerful. But here's the thing. Even without mods, Skyrim still holds up. And I think that's important to recognize. Because sure, the combat can feel a little clunky, and yes, the NPCs sometimes stare at you like malfunctioning robots, but the core loop of exploration, discovery, and progression still feels good. You pick a direction, you walk, you stumble into some random ruin, and suddenly you're 3 hours deep into a storyline about a forgotten cult that worships cheese. That's Skyrim. That's the magic. It's not about graphics, or mechanics, or even story. It's about the possibility of what's around the corner. That's why, even in 2025, Skyrim feels fresh. Because it's not a game about ticking boxes. It's a game about stories you create for yourself. And maybe that's why Skyrim has become a comfort game for so many people. There's something relaxing about going back to Whiterun, hearing the familiar soundtrack, and watching that guard complain about his knee injury for the 1000th time. It's like visiting an old friend. You don't need to rush, you don't need to optimize, you don't need to grind. Skyrim is there when you want it, waiting for you to step back in. In a gaming landscape that's increasingly about live services, battle passes, and fear of missing out, Skyrim feels like a safe haven. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't demand that you log in every day to keep up. You can play for 10 minutes or 10 hours, and it's equally satisfying. And that's rare in 2025. Skyrim is the kind of game you can lose yourself in without feeling like the game is losing you to some system of monetization. And then there's the cultural side of things. Skyrim isn't just a game anymore. It's part of gaming culture. The memes, the references, the countless re-releases. It's everywhere. Even if you've never played it, you know Skyrim. You've heard Fus Ro Da. You've seen the arrow to the knee joke. You've heard someone shout Skyrim belongs to the Nords at least once. That cultural immortality matters. It means that even in 2025, Skyrim isn't just surviving, it's thriving. It's still in conversations, still in Let's Plays, still in speedruns, still in memes. It's not nostalgia keeping it alive, it's relevance. People are still discovering it for the first time, still getting hooked, still finding stories worth telling. And honestly, that might be the biggest reason Skyrim is amazing in 2025. Because no matter how much gaming changes, no matter how many new releases flood the market, Skyrim still has a place. It's not just something we look back on, it's something we still actively enjoy. Skyrim is flexible enough to be whatever you want it to be. It can be a hardcore survival simulator with frostbite and hunger mechanics. It can be a cozy adventure where you just wander and fish. It can be a heavily modded fever dream with anime companions and lightsabers. Or it can just be vanilla Skyrim, the same game you played years ago, still ready to whisk you away. And that's the beauty of it. Skyrim has outlived its own generation, but it hasn't become outdated. It hasn't been replaced. It hasn't been overshadowed. It's timeless. And maybe that's because Skyrim never tried to be everything. It just tried to be itself. A big, atmospheric, explorable fantasy world. And that's something that will always be worth revisiting, no matter the year. So yes, Skyrim is amazing in 2025. Not because it's perfect, but because it doesn't need to be. It's amazing because it still inspires us, still comforts us, still gives us stories to tell, and still gives us worlds to get lost in. Skyrim isn't just a game from 2011. It's a game for 2025, and probably 2035, and maybe even beyond that, because some games fade and some games endure. Skyrim belongs to forever.